Hello and welcome, my amazing insomniacs. Please take a deep breath with me real quick before we get started on this amazing space spa where I will give you the absolute best care while I read you some really cool space facts. Come with me on this journey through space as I provide to you the absolute best spa. Number one fact, the Voyager 1 spacecraft will likely outlive planet Earth itself. The probe was launched back in 1977 in order to study Jupiter and Saturn. We will look more into Jupiter in this particular video because Jupiter is the biggest planet and it seems to be very popular. A black hole the size of one atom has the mass of a large mountain. There is a black hole at the center of our galaxy called Sagittarius A, with a mass equal to 4 billion of our suns. But not to worry, it is so far away, we don't have to worry about getting sucked in. Did you know that all of our planets in our solar system can fit in between the Earth and the Moon with about 2,729 miles to spare? And scientists have predicted that our sun has about 5 billion years left to live, while humans apparently only have 1 billion years left, which to me sounds pretty insane. How do they know this? Where did they get this information? I must know. The sun makes up 99.8% of the mass of our solar system, and speaking of our solar system, there might be another planet on the rim of it. Some astronomers have found evidence of a 9th planet far beyond Neptune. And then it says here, I'm sorry to those who are still sore about the whole Pluto isn't a planet thing. I am still quite sour about that for sure. And in around 4.5 billion years, the Milky Way is expected to collide with the Andromeda Galaxy, our closest galactic neighbor, to form a giant elliptical galaxy. Again, how do they know this? All of the stars, galaxies, and planets only make up 4% of the universe. Scientists can't explain the other 96% of the galaxy, at least not yet. It's also true that on average, a bit of debris crashes back to Earth about once a week. I did not know that. That is hard to imagine. Anytime you look up at the sky, you are seeing the universe as it was in the past. And there are undisturbed footprints that will last forever on the moon because there's no wind or water to erode them. To match the energy the sun produces, you would need to light 100 billion tons of dynamite every second. If you fell into a black hole, you'd get stretched out like spaghetti. It would take Usain Bolt running at his highest record speed a little over 262 days to trek the distance of Saturn's rings. There are over 500,000 pieces of space junk floating above the Earth, and they're moving at high speeds up to 17,500 miles per hour. There's actually a dedicated team of researchers whose job it is to track the debris and assess its risk of collision with Earth or spacecraft. It would take 100,000 years to travel across our galaxy if you were going the speed of light. The speed of light is equal to 186,000 miles per second. That means you would need a car that could reach speeds of 669.6 million miles per hour. There are more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on Earth. Scientists have found a void in space 1 billion miles wide that could be a parallel universe. Some nebulae have night lights made of new stars. It's true that in space, no one can hear you scream. Did you know that the giant red spot on Jupiter is roughly the size of Earth? So just that great red spot on Jupiter is the size of Earth. That's wild. Let's go ahead and look at some facts about Jupiter. Okay. Jupiter's signature stripes and swirls are actually cold, windy clouds of ammonia and water floating in an atmosphere of hydrogen and helium. The dark orange stripes are called belts, while the lighter bands are called zones, and they flow east and west in opposite directions. Jupiter's iconic Great Red Spot is a giant storm bigger than Earth that has raged for hundreds of years. The king of planets was named for Jupiter, king of the gods in Roman mythology. Most of its moons are also named for mythological characters, figures associated with Jupiter, or his Greek counterpart, Zeus. Jupiter, being the biggest planet, gets its name from the king of the ancient Roman gods. Potential for life. Jupiter's environment is probably not conducive to life as we know it. The temperatures, pressures, and materials that characterize this planet are most likely too extreme and volatile for organisms to adapt to. Size and distance. With a radius of 43,440.7 miles, which is 69,911 kilometers, Jupiter is 11 times wider than Earth. If Earth were the size of a grape, Jupiter would be about as big as a basketball. From an average distance of 484 million miles, which is 778 million kilometers, Jupiter is 5.2 astronomical units away from the Sun. Orbit and rotation. Jupiter has the shortest day in the solar system. One day on Jupiter takes only about 10 hours. That is wild to think about. I still don't think there's enough time on Earth in a day, and it's 24 hours. Moons. With 4 large moons and many smaller moons, Jupiter forms a kind of miniature solar system. Rings. Discovered in 1979 by NASA's Voyager 1 spacecraft, Jupiter's rings were a surprise. The rings are composed of small, dark particles, and they are difficult to see except when backlit by the sun. Data from a different spacecraft indicated that Jupiter's ring system may be formed by dust kicked up as interplanetary meteoroids smash into the giant planet's small innermost moons. Jupiter took shape along with the rest of the solar system about 4.5 billion years ago. Gravity pulled swirling gas and dust together to form this gas giant. Jupiter took most of the mass left over after the formation of the Sun, ending up with more than twice the combined material of the other bodies in the solar system. The composition of Jupiter is similar to that of the Sun, mostly hydrogen and helium. Deep in the atmosphere, pressure and temperature increase, compressing the hydrogen gas into a liquid. This gives Jupiter the largest ocean in the solar system, an ocean made of hydrogen instead of water. That's pretty wild. There you go. Some really interesting facts about Jupiter. Now let's go back to just space in general. If you weigh 100 pounds on Earth, you would weigh 1 out of 100 of 1 pound on a comet, meaning you could just jump and you'd start floating off into space. There's a gold-plated Earth soundtrack almost 11 billion miles away. In 1977, NASA launched Voyager and Voyager 2. Mounted on the side of each spacecraft is a golden record of the sounds that make Earth, Earth. If you put your finger over a star in the sky, you are preventing photons that have traveled to Earth undisturbed for millions of years from finally entering your eye. There is a planet in our galaxy where the temperature during the day can reach over 1,000 degrees Celsius, and it possibly rains molten glass horizontally at around 4,500 miles per hour. The planet known as HD 189733b. Let's do a couple more. There's a rogue supermassive black hole speeding through space at around 5 million miles per hour. Venus looked pretty much exactly like Earth does now around 2 billion years ago. It's possible for two pieces of the same metal to actually fuse together if they touch in outer space. Dark matter is believed to be responsible for 85% of gravity in the universe, and no one knows what it is or how it works. And according to quantum mechanics, there's a small chance the entire universe could spontaneously disappear and never come back. Don't worry, I'm not trying to scare any of you. We've found over 8,000 planets outside our solar system just in the last 20 years. And lastly, it takes a photon on average 170,000 years to travel from the core of the sun to the surface. Okay, last one, I promise. These sounds in space actually sound very eerie. I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you more than you could ever know. I will see you again soon.